Welcome back, Nick Lenz's Comic Corner, Classics / Non-Classics. This is episode number 977, Doubleshot number 876. I got two trades, like usual, the meaning the word Doubleshot. I have one DC trade that's actually the finale for one trade series, and the first for a Marvel one, which is technically the first, so it's actually the second one. Alright, first up, it is Titans Volume 6 Into the Bleed, collecting issues 29 to 36 of Titans Volume 3. Yes, the last 8 issues of this ongoing series that made it about 2 issues shorter than the last volume of Titans. That ended about exactly 5 years for the start of this title. Now with this group, we have pretty much picking up right where they left off with the tie-in. They're the prelude to Drowned Earth. Read my thoughts on the Drowned Earth storyline. It's a really good storyline. Yeah, the Titans, basically, the group consists at this point of Donna Troy, Raven, Steel, Miss Martian, and Beast Boy, are trapped on the alien planet for 2 issues until they're rescued by Kyle Rayner. It's a great little two-parter, and just basically deals with them go back to Earth. And they go back to Earth, they sort of debrief the Justice League. And Batman's thinking, okay, Dick's not around, maybe we need to disband the Titans. And Donna points out, though, just because Dick is not around does not mean our mission stops. And Batman's like, noted. And of course, he needs more manpower, so Kyle Rayner is like, I'll join for the interim. Joins for the last 6 issues of the series. And then they go deal with stuff basically with the start of this era of Titans, with the Unearthed story. Yeah, it's a follow-up to that, plus something from old Teen Titans lore. Namely, the Church of Blood. Well, what's left of them anyways. Apparently, they said the Teen Titans took them down. I'm thinking, now when I saw the Robin appears in this issue, I'm like, that's not Tim Drake, that's Damian Wayne. And also, if they think that it was just recently, I don't remember them ever taking down the Church of Blood in the Titan setup. I haven't got my hands on the first trade that collects Adam Glass's run of the book. Yep. So, they go to this particular place, and while they're there, they also find that part of Raven's self-soul has been trapped there for a long period of time. They rescue it, and basically, Raven's story back normal, and of course, Beast Boy is purged of Source Wall energy, something that's been bothering him since the start of this era. Okay. And we also have, I'll point out though, there's this guy named Reb, who's from Steve Orlando's Supergirl run, and he's been supporting character. He's basically served as the support staff for this team. And he's appeared for pretty much like almost every issue of this whole run. At least got praise him for that. And yeah. Everything's pretty much back normal. They tease something for the future. Oh, and also Dick Grayson shows us the last issue. In a flashback. Yep, in a flashback. They also mentioned the death of Roy Harper, which happened in Heroes for Crisis. And his funeral happened in the 6th to last issue of Green Arrow. In Green Arrow Volume 6 or 45. I haven't had a chance to review that yet. Yep, and no, that was not done by Percy. I think that was done by, if I remember, I think that was done by the Bensons who did that issue. Yep. Now, I should point out, though, Kyle Rayner, not the first time he's been part of the Titans. Nope. The last time he was part of the Titans was back in around the 1990s. Prior to the book's cancellation, when it was known as simply New Titans. During a period of time which had people just coming and going for like no explained reason at all. And the book basically had a very lack of direction during its last couple years of its existence. Yeah, it seemed that they'll raft the whole thing with the storyline that's set up that would later serve as a plot device for the JLA/Titans, the Titans imperative. Like, it seemed like, though, if anyone has ever read the original, New Titans, basically, the book was named New Teen Titans Volume 2, until issue 50 became New Titans, and once you get past issue 100, the book goes completely downhill, and that was during a period of time when Kyle Rayner was in the book, and that's when they started one of the most stupidest ideas that DC's ever came up with. What did they come up with? A relationship between Donna Troy and Kyle Rayner. Yeah, a relationship that readers did not want at all. They actually wanted her to hook up with, well, because her husband's gone. Let's hook her up with Roy Harper, which in this run they actually made. She actually did love him. Yep. And let's see, what else? Oh, yeah. Like, he's part of this group, and then they tease something toward the very end, like there's a door opening and there's some green lights, and that's kind of the last scene in the book, with the exception of the flashback stuff. Yeah, it looks like they were teasing a future arc, but the book got canceled. Yes. I'm going to give the storyline roughly a 9.5 out of 10. It's really good. I should point out this is a really thick trade. This is, I forgot to mention who wrote this. Dan Abnett, basically. Who, when he took on, basically, when this book was ending, he just took over the book just like Odyssey, with artwork by a few different artists on here. Basically, you have Maku Jang, Clayton Henry, Bruno Radu, who's basically Rick artist with Brett Peoples and Christian Deuce. The cover art here, who also is the cover artist for pretty much the entire, this are the covers of the series, is Yasmi Patri. Basically, he's a really good artist. Yeah, gotta love this cover. Now, final thoughts on this run. This run started out really, really good. You had the first 22 issues. For some people, they probably really enjoyed those issues. Basically, when they brought back the classic lineup from the 60s and 70s. Basically, you have Dick Grayson, who at this point is Nightwing again. Donna Troy, Roy Harper, who's Arsenal. Wally West, who basically came back. Though I should point out though that the first year of the book was done by Brett Booth. Let's see who else is part of the group. Let's see. You also later on joined Bumblebee, joined the group. To basically you had the original 5, which was Dick Grayson, Donna Troy, Garth. Yeah, he was part of the group too. They basically had the original 5, which is basically Dick Grayson, Wally West, Garth, Donna Troy, Roy Harper. They also had Owen part of the group, along with Bumblebee and Mal Duncan. Yep, that was a lineup throughout the entirety of the first 22 issues. Though for some reason, it seemed that once this new era, post No Justice, started up, the team was quietly disbanded off panel, despite the fact they probably shouldn't have. Yes, the way it was written in the book is that the Justice League were complete dicks. They basically misunderstood the whole point of Donna Troy thing. Like, they thought this was the future that was going to happen. It's a possible future. I do not know why Dan Abnett wrote the Justice League to be just jerks to this group. They're not jerks to Teen Titans. Nope. No, they're not. They're not jerks to Teen Titans, but they are jerks to this group. Yes, for some reason, the Justice League are biased against this group. Though my personal theory is because a lot of this group is comprised of people who are their former sidekicks. I'm like, okay, I get the fact these people are sort of related to you. You basically taught them everything you know. But please, for the love of God, don't be biased against them. Like, this all started with the first annual for Titans, where apparently the Justice League are written that they do not care about this group at all. They want this group to disband. Why? Because not the Justice League. Or they're not the regular Teen Titans. I'm like, does this sound so familiar to people who basically read Marvel Comics and basically how the Avengers are written to appear in other group people's books? Yeah, they're like this in Champions. They're like this in New Warriors. Oh, because we're not the Avengers, the X-Men, the Fantastic Four, or the Guardians of the Galaxy. We have to basically be biased against them. We have to force this team to become part of ours for no reason at all, just so we can boss them around and basically quietly disband because we don't feel like it. I'm like, why in the world is the premier superhero team written this way in this series? It makes no sense at all. Yeah, it really makes no sense. And then for some strange reason, and this by far was never explained why, and then toward the end of that first era for this book, the original era that some people really did enjoy, one of course being Louis Lovehog, aka Linkara. They said the group basically disband because they wanted to investigate Donna Troy. Okay. You can basically down Troy all you want, but you don't need to disband the frickin' Titans. This group had no reason to be basically broken up. Luckily enough, Roy Harper basically said, yeah, you guys are full of bullcrap. And basically, he decided to go become a solo act, basically take on drug deals. One person thought he was actually back on drugs, even though there's no evidence to support that. And basically, the Titans came back together to take on the Brotherhood of Evil, an awesome story. And then for some reason, after the events of No Justice, let's have that group quietly disband off frickin' panel for like no explained reason at all, and let's just have a brand new lineup, which consisted of. Now, this was the announced lineup. One person's part of this group, basically, is part of the whole run, was not announced part of the lineup, but yet she's part of the group. We have Nightwing, Raven, Beast Boy, Steel. A lot of people thought this was Jonathan Irons, but nope, it was his niece Natasha. And Miss Martian. That was the initial lineup. They added basically Donna Troy to the group because why not? Me personally, I didn't have a problem with the lineup because it actually is a really good idea to do. And they did try to add Garth back to the book, aka Aqualad, but that went nowhere. Like, there are 3 people who were part of that previous lineup who basically just disappeared. Unknown what happened to them. And those characters were Omen, Mal Duncan, and his wife Bumblebee. Yes, for some explained reason, they were dropped from the book for no explained reason whatsoever, and they were never considered to be part of this new lineup. Also, we have a new idea for this team. Instead of being just basically a group of friends who basically fight bad guys together, and by the way, they had their own base operations, Titan's Tower, which was heavily based upon the George Perez design from the 80s. I love this particular building. It showed up in basically the first arc they did right after they had the return of Wally West. And by the way, in that very same issue they had the tower show up. It's basically the reimagining of the second issue of Titans from the first flying for the series, which was really good. Having Superman show up and interact with Wally West. This, of course, was the pre-Flashpoint Superman and him remembering Wally West. I thought this was a well-written issue, and plus, I loved May Manhattan stuff, where they had the Fearsome Five. Of course, the reference stuff happened in Justice League. And here's the thing. By issue 22, after issue 22, we had a brand new regime, and they get a new base operations, basically the headquarters of the Hall of Justice for some reason. Even though that, I'm sure a lot of people probably pointed out, though, Dan, you do realize, though, this group has their own base operation. It's called Titan's Tower, and they're headquartered in New York City. Why in the world move into the freaking Hall of Justice? I mean, I get the fact, yes, the Justice League are based there. But was the reason why we had to have, let's have a space in the Hall of Justice for this team? They did the same thing for Justice League Dark as well, because the Supernatural Man is Justice League. Fine, whatever. But at least, despite the fact the whole idea of this was really dumb, Dan Abnett basically did a really good job with it, in my honest opinion. And basically dealing with ramifications of No Justice was a good idea to basically drive the story forward. I think the only reason why the book ended, and this is my honest opinion, one, people didn't like new direction, so yeah, a lot of people were dropping the book like crazy. And that could explain the reason why that exactly 13 issues, well, more like 14 issues, at a little over a year after this whole initiative started, the book ends. Yeah, it was announced this past February when this book ended. At least DC bothers to announce in their solicits that a book series ending. Marvel, don't really care. Yeah, they don't give a damn about that. Yeah, they'll just have a book most of the time just end with no reason whatsoever. It's like, the book just ended. Okay. Whatever. But this was a really good series, and I do like the fact Dan Abnett actually stuck with the series. I like some of the writers basically abruptly leave the series. Okay. Moving on from the end of that series, we also have the start of another series. So technically, this is the second trade that collects this particular title, though they call it Volume 1. This is Old Man Logan. Though the title of the trade is Wolverine Old Man Logan, Volume 1, Berserker. And yes, on the cover, that is Miles Morales and Jane Foster on the cover, basically as Thor and Spider-Man respectively. Excuse me. This is now this collects the first 4 issues of Old Man Logan Volume 2. Yeah, I should point out the Volume 0, which actually you can see the cover for this in here. This is the War Zones trade. This kind of continues where this one leaves off. Yeah, and this has the first 4 issues of the second volume. Plus, it has the Wolverine Old Man Logan giant size book. Yeah, which is done by Mark Millar and artwork by Steve McNiven. Now, I should point out, though, the creative team for this book, believe it or not, is basically the creative team for Green Arrow. Well, it's Jeff Lemire and Andrea Sorrento. Yeah, it's the same exact creative team. Basically, Jeff Lemire brought this artist over from DC because these two work well together on Green Arrow. So why not do Old Man Logan? I believe this is the same artist who did the previous volume with the series. Yeah, it's the same artist who did the previous volume, which I appreciate though Marvel doing this. Now, I should point out this is one of several titles that sprang out of Secret Wars. This is not the only one. We also have Weird World. Yeah, that sprung out of Secret Wars as well. A-Force, Amazing Spider-Man New Year Vow sprung out of basically Secret Wars. Several of the miniseries did basically lead into ongoing series. Though I do appreciate Lemire writing the character. So we have Logan pick up kind of pretty much where his Secret Wars miniseries left off, where he's in the 616 universe, and he has to basically kill several people. One, of course, being Bruce Banner, aka the Hulk, Mysterio. By the way, he does not count the Mysterio in these issues. He doesn't fight Mysterio until Dead Man Logan. I'll talk about that in a minute. So he kills a guy called the Butcher, and then he meets up with Kate Bishop, who apparently, according to his perspective, was actually still alive. He knew who Kate Bishop is. It's like, oh, you're the other Hawkeye. Yeah. Though for a lot of people, it's like, yeah, I'm the better Hawkeye. Yeah. And of course, he doesn't know, like, he mentions that to Kate Bishop that, oh, you know so that Thor's a woman now? And apparently, the way Lemire writes Kate Bishop, it's like she just didn't really know that at all. Though, I should point out, though, despite the fact Jane Foster is mentioned in the book, she does not make a physical appearance outside the cover of the first issue, along with Miles Morales. You see him in the cover, nowhere in the issues himself. He also has an encounter with Amadeus Cho for issue 2. Yeah, a great issue. Yeah, he basically is like, oh, he calls him Bruce Banner. He's like, I'm not Bruce Banner. I'm Amadeus Cho. I'm the new Hulk. Yeah, of course, if you want to read what happened to Bruce Banner, read the Totally Awesome Hulk series by Greg Pak. Yeah, my guess is the only reason why they had him basically fight the Hulk in here. One, because Wolverine has fought Hulk many times over the years, and two, Greg Pak probably asked Lemire to advertise his book kind of in a way in Old Man Logan, which I'm sure Lemire didn't have a problem with that at all. Nope. I should point this one of several great titles he wrote basically was at Marvel. Now he's back at DC doing the Terrifics. Yeah, then of course he meets up with Captain America. Now, I should point out though, when these issues came out, Steve Rogers was not wearing the costume display. Nope. He got turned old. Who did this to him? Rick Remender did this to him. Though Nick Spencer did this basically about 2 years. Basically, he did this 2 years after, about 2 years after it happened in Standoff. Yeah, so apparently he gets a brief fight with Captain America, and then he's taken to the grave of the 616 Wolverine, who's basically still in the adamantium shell. Though in Hunt Wolverine, they do get him out of that shell. And yeah, he's basically with his own, and the book ends with him counting a Sentinel and the X-Men, which kind of helps sets up his time with the Extraordinary X-Men. Yeah, it's like this book basically takes place before the start of Extraordinary X-Men. Yes, this book is really, really good. I can't wait to get my hands on the other trades for this series. I give this book a 9.5 out of 10. It's really, really good. And here's the thing about this series. It ended when this series ended last year. They ended after 50 issues. I marked, though, in my Open Topics video last year, this was the first Marvel title to have a 50th issue since Hulk Volume 2 and Astonishing X back in 2013. Yes, at the time the 50th issue came out for this series, it had been 5 years at that point since, in fact, we had a 50th issue Public Comics. That's not a restart of another numbering. I mean, from issue 1 to 50, no relaunch, just straight through. Yeah. I'm like, when was the last time we saw that? Back in 2013, like I said, with Hulk Volume 2 and Assange the X-Men. And I was very pleased the fact it ended that particular number instead of like 12 or 10 or 6 or in some cases 5. At least at least it lasted for a good period of time. Yeah, it only lasted for a little for 3 years, which you at least got praise for that. I think from what I can tell, I think that when Lemire was not in the book very long. He stayed in the book for the first 25 issues, and then he left along with the artist, and he was replaced by Ed Bronson, who also started his run on Iron Fist, and he got Mike Deodato doing the artwork, and he's one really good artist. I'm not talking about the artist who currently does Thor. I'm talking about the artist who worked on Brian Michael Bendis' Dark Avengers. Yeah, it's really good. There's like a bit of a dark art style. It's really, really good. I love this art style. But yeah, but I love this book. I can't wait to get my hands on more trades. I might get my hands on more trades of this when I go to Comic-Con, a little over a month from now. So yeah, that's it for this particular review. I have no ideas planned for today. Expect my videos for tomorrow. 2 videos. One review of the newest episode of JoJo Avengers and the newest chapter of My Hero Academia. Okay? See you next video. Bye.